Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial here on Affiliator, and I'm really glad for you being here because today we are going to learn how to create a simple price series chart for Ethereum based on some historical data that I have scraped externally. So let's dive into it. We are going to use NodeJS, which is one of the most renowned and used web application development frameworks, together with Visual Studio Code to provide code completions and syntax highlighting. And also today I'm going to introduce another new library which is called CanvasJS. This library has the ability to create charts, all kinds of charts. For our purpose, for the tutorial, we are going to use only the series chart to plot the data which we already have. Now, what we plan to achieve, I want a correct compilation of the JavaScript code. I want to generate the data for the series chart from an external source. Practically, I have some files which I will show you, and they will be transformed into the data which the chart requires. We want to also be able to see this data in a browser page, and ultimately the code will be published to GitHub for you to have as a reference. Couple of considerations to have, so I don't have any preparation in advance. I do have some code from my personal projects, but it still has to be adapted into our situation. The code here will be MIT licensed, and you can reuse it and distribute it as it is. And we are going to learn and adapt on the spot, because even for such a small and easy tutorial, we can have a couple of challenges, but we will overcome. Practically, development is about overcoming those challenges and be better at it. And you will see ultimately someone who's passionate about developing, and you'll see action, and you will also hear the keyboard clattering and the mouse clicking, which will be really awesome. Okay, so let's start. So we remember last time we had this crypto prices repository, which is also on GitLab, and it contains a simple index.js file with a license file and the package JSON, readme, gitignore, package log, which is a very basic structure in a Node.js application. The index.js file, as we remember last time, it has a pretty simple structure. So practically we call these two endpoints to get the data for the price of Ethereum. Good. Right now we need to start from some historical data to test, to check the price, and then adapt this data for the CanvasJS. So I did from an externally I scraped it with a script. I have this historical price data for Ethereum in a JSON format. Now this data is very simple, although there are many files. The idea is that if we open a file, we can see in a JSON format, we have the currency, which is Ethereum, we have the fiat, which is the against euro. So the price in euro for an Ethereum for the UTC in seconds, so we have this date stamp, it's going to be 2132.31 euro. Okay, let's actually see how it goes if we go to the unixtimestamp.com. I think this was the site. If we convert this, we will see something like Monday. So this date is actually Monday, 1st of January, just at midnight. If we go to the next file, we will see, so let's see the difference between those. So we have like a price per day. And I remember for this tutorial, it will be the average price per day. So practically every file up till to almost today, I think it's not really up to September. I think it's up till August. We have the median price for Ethereum in euro for each day of the 2024. Okay, so it's 2024. Yeah, 2024. Now let's check the CanvasJS library. CanvasJS.com. No, it's not this one. Let's see. CanvasJS. I don't know. CanvasJS. Okay. So if we go to the demos, we have JavaScript charts. So which is a chart that will be most suitable for us? I think this one. Something like this one. Chart with null data. I don't know what that means with null or empty data, but I think this is a good starting point for our tutorial because we can plot each Ethereum price tag on the chart, and we can have it, you can have on the x-axis, we can have the day, and on the y-axis we will have the price. And I think this is quite enough for this tutorial. And yeah, I think we are practically, we can test it out. Now what I will do, I will copy this code and I will create a HTML. So let's create another folder, not here. I want to create folder. Why does it go there? I want a folder, not a file. Okay, so let's say HTML, and we can create a new file. It will be Ethereum price.html, something like that. And let's paste our code. We can let's first check if this code will open with. I want to open with some browser. Okay, let's try another thing. Let me open with this one. Okay, just a second. Practically, yes, I can see the chart right here. So this part was really easy. Now let's see a little bit how this works. So we have a chart defined. This will render into the chart container. So as we can see, we have a div in the body, which is called chart container. It will be rendered there. What we have to do is practically to change the title of the chart, and it will be something like Ethereum year historic price, and on the x-axis we will have the date, and on the y-axis we will have the euro. I don't know if we will need to include this suffix and 0. I don't know. Let's comment it for now. And data, connect null data, true. I don't know exactly what's this, perhaps because I didn't understand in the beginning. Okay, so this is something like null data for missing data. Okay, I think it's okay. I don't know if we have missing data, but if we have, we will see. Now the name, it will be price. X value type, it will be a date. It will keep it as a date, and I don't really want the hour. I will just want the date, and that's quite about it. I think I will leave this format like that. I hope. Anyway, we will dive into it. And the data points, as we can see, they are very straightforward. We have only the X and the Y axis, and at some point we also have the null data. Okay, so it doesn't connect automatically. I thought that when it's a missing day, it will add automatically the null, but you have to provide null yourself. We are not in that case, I would say, so it should be just fine. Now let's see our graph. So Ethereum Europe historical price. Okay, date. The date is not okay for sure. Perhaps this one. Let's see. I think we need to play a little bit with the format. Oh no. Date. Perhaps we will need to say date time because it's not working just all right. So 26 July 26. I think this is quite okay because we can see the date 26. This chart by the default data also has the hour, but we will not use the hour. Our hour is always midnight, so we will not really use it, but it's going to be okay. Now let's do something. First, let's see so how we will build this data. If we go to over this bunch of files, we will have the possibility, so we will see that we have the price. Practically we will take the price and it will be right here in our y-axis, and we will take the UTC seconds, which again will be right here. Let's see how it will work, because you see there's a difference in the format. This one is the UTC in seconds. So this value represents the number of seconds which have passed since 1st January 1970. We can see the values which were out there by default. By default, they were, you see, they are greater. So they have always 3 zeros. This means that this number is actually the number of milliseconds which have passed since the 1st of January 1970, because this is what UTC is, right? So this is the number of seconds or milliseconds which have passed since 1st of January 1970 at midnight. Okay, perhaps we will have to append 3 zeros for this thing to work. So 1, 2, 3. And let's also take the data for the second. The second one, which will be 1, 2, 3. And we will add the price. Let's be brave and also add the third file. So the price, I will take first the price and the UTC seconds value, which I will convert it manually to milliseconds. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Majestic. It looks a bit strange, right? I didn't expect such a straight line. I think we will need to delete all this data, since it's not relevant for ourselves anyway. Let's see. Yeah, I would say it's a bit better. So we can see on the 1st of January, we can see 2nd of January, and we can see 3rd of January. Okay, so we have some data practically. We have a little bit of data. We have three points in this series. So we can see 2132, 2154, 2027. So these are exactly the same value that we outputted here. Good. Now imagine doing the same manual work for all these files. This is a manual task. I wouldn't do it at all. That's why I would start doing another script in JavaScript that will populate these data points extracted from the history that we have here. Okay, let's do it. So I will create another JavaScript script. I will call it let's say history.js, and this this script will be the one which we'll call before looking into this data. So whenever we have a history, change in history, we will have to call this script which will generate the data. Now what I want to have is to move this data, because I don't want that script to generate or to write directly into this file. I want these data points to be externalized, so to say. So I'll move them to another file, and I will call it Ethereum price.data.json, and I will move the whole thing here. Data points. Okay, just a second. I will move them into the data right here, and of course with some modifications, because we want them to, all these files to be correctly parsed and to have a valid syntax. In this case, this is a JSON syntax, and I want it to be good. All right. Okay, we need to remove this trailing comma right here. And all right, now what I want to do is to get this data somehow. So I will need to import it. Let's see how it can be imported into this particular thing. I will use into the head. So into the head, I'll need to have data. Well, I don't know if it will work like this, because yeah, practically you can't just import the data. So I think we will need to have this file as a JavaScript instead, and it will. I want to say something like var chart data equals all this stuff. So we will create practically a JavaScript which will, when we load it into the page, it will define this chart data variable. Okay, so what I will do is to script source, and it will be Ethereum price. Okay, let's refresh this page. Now we see, since I cleared the data, I don't see anything in the chart, but my idea is to see if I have the chart data. Look, lovely. So I have the chart data loaded into the page. So this means this chart data is a variable which is globally accessible in the page, and I can use it very easily, chart data, in here as a data point. Now if we refresh the page, we should be able to see the data. Lovely. So we have this as a chart data, we have everything set up. Now we will need to work on the history. on the history script. Now the history script is empty right now, but we will have to add the possibility of reading this folder, all the files in this folder. So let's add. So first we will need read or list the files in the history folder. Then we will need to load each file and get or parse the JSON. And finally we will need to create the file for the chart data. Output the chart data file. So this is what this script should do. So let's see how we can start this script. First, because I prefer also to use the async pattern always, I recommend it because it's much easier. So I will write an async main function. I will declare it function main, which will in turn be called here like that. And inside this we will have the possibility to work on our things, and let's see how it will go. Okay, inside the function main we will need first, which is to define the input folder. I will define it a bit outside input dir, because the directory will be called history. Okay. Now the output directory will be called HTML. Output dir HTML, and we will also need to because these are the relative paths, and they might not work properly depending on the location that we will call the script from. We will also define the input directory path, and we will use path.join, and this will be something like dir name. So dir name underscore dir name is the current directory of the script, and it will be also always an absolute path input directory, and we will also use output directory path, and it will be output dir. Okay. And first we will need to in the main function to read. So we'll need to read the files. Let's define constant files, and I think we also need to include the path. So here before the const path equals require path. So we need to import this package first. Now, in order to use the file functionality, we will use the fs with the promise approach. So we will require fs. Fs comes from a file system, and we will use that promises, because we will be into an async await pattern, and we will need to use this promise thing. Okay, so let's first read path, read directory. So this function, what it does, reads the contents of the directory. So it will practically read all the files from our path, and we will say input directory path. Now what we will do is that for each file into this directory, we will read it, parse it as a JSON, and we will push the data into an array. How can we do that? First we need to define a for, and it will be like file of files So remember, if we are in JavaScript, so in order to loop over an array, we use the off, not in. Coming from C#, you might be tempted to use in, or any other language, I suppose, because in is commonly used in many languages. In JavaScript, you need to use off. So we will read first the file, constant text. So this is the text as a string of the file. And since we are in a promise pattern with async await, we will say fs.read file. So we will read the file, and we will need to use again path.join in order to make sure that we are inside the right directory. We will input the directory path, and we will use the file.name, or no, file. Is it? If it's a string, then it will be a file directly, and something like that. Read file. Do we need anything else? I don't know. No, we shouldn't. And this text has to be converted to a JSON, to a JavaScript object. And let's say constant JSON object. It will be, we can use the JSON.parse, and we will parse the text. Okay. For now, we do just the simple parsing, and for each file we will need to save this data into the memory, so I will also need to declare an array. So I will say const, let's say chart data equals an empty array, and then at the end of this loop we will add chart data.push. So I'm actually pushing the JSON object into this array. Nothing fancy here, so I'm doing it really easy, as easy as possible. Now let's see. I'm not sure exactly. We need to be really cautious about the order that these files are being processed, right? So inside this file, I would like to we see we have the UTC seconds, and I would like every output of the data, I mean the data itself, the chart data, I would like it to be somehow sorted. And we can use the chart data.sort function. And this one needs two arguments. So this is the function actually, how it will be sorted, right? It will be sorted by what criteria? Now, in order to sort it by UTC seconds ascending, we will need to use a.utc seconds less than b.utc seconds, something like that. Chart data.sort, and this sort array sorts an array in place. So this method mutates the array. Okay, so I don't need to reassign the array. All right. Now we need to check if this what we did so far, if it works. Let's say console log chart data, and let's open one terminal, and we can call node history.js. Okay, files is not iterable. Oh yes, because we didn't use await here. Await fs read dir. Oh. Okay, so these files were read successfully. We can see the data, which is really cool. Now we have to make sure to output this data into this, to replace this Ethereum price data.js file, but we need to replace just the part. So this part will be constant, and this part will be changing from will be changed by the script. So let's see how we can do this, because we will need to create a buffer, since JavaScript doesn't have any string builder or anything like that to output directly. So we will use a buffer and then we will proceed. Just a little bit of a heads up, we are going to use a buffer. I looked a little bit over the internet, so there I confirmed there's no string builder function in JavaScript. We have to rely on a buffer array, which will be then joined together to form the final file. So in this buffer array, since we are going to start with the chart data, we have this constant part will be called chart data, and let's also add a new line. Okay, and then we need to loop over the chart data. Let's say const data of chart data. Okay, and we will need to append to this array something like buff array push. So we will add a string representation of this JSON, and the x-axis will be the date. So it will be like data.utc seconds, and the y-axis will be formed by the price, right? Data.price. And we don't need to forget the comma at the end, and buff array.push, and perhaps also a new line. Why not? Okay, good. Now we have we started this array here? Because we also need, okay, so we need a square bracket, and then at the end we need to buff array.push. Also need to add the end square bracket, and let's say also a new line. Okay, let's see if I have any error. No error yet. Okay, now the idea is to push this into the Ethereum price data file. So let's see how we can do it. I'm going to use output file. I'm going to use again the path.join. So I will join this path from output directory path to the output will be output HTML, okay, and the file name will be exactly this one, Ethereum price data, okay, history, Ethereum price data. This is the output file, and now in order to write the file we will need to something like write file. Okay, we will see output file and data. So in order to leverage the buff array functionality we'll need to join it together, and we will join it with an empty string separate. I think we can omit this argument. Okay, let's see, is it with a promise? So if it's with a promise we need to use the await on it. Await. Okay, time to test it out. Okay, node history, Oh wow, we have lots of data. lots of data. Okay, we have how many lines? We have almost 900 lines, but something is strange. Why do I have multiple commas? I think I have more commas than I need. So somewhere I practically add a comma which is not necessary. I don't know how. Backslash n, comma, the comma is here. Where does this comma come from? I have no idea. And there's another one. Pretty strange, isn't it? Push. Because I suppose it will not work, right? Cannot read properties of undefined. So the data the file that was generated is not correct. Is not in a JSON or JavaScript format. But I still don't get it why I do have 2 commas on the same line. That's a bit weird. Let's try to delete this one and run again and see. Okay, I don't have the comma right here, but I do have it on the beginning of each line, which still doesn't make it a valid format. And it's a bit strange. Const data. Okay, something is strange. Let's do one thing. So chart data. Quite strange, I would say. I suppose that I think it's coming from this method, because if I use the join, even though I don't provide any separator, you see, I didn't know that. So if you don't provide any separator to this parameter, it's going to use comma by default, I suppose. So let's try it again. Yeah, that was it. So I think it's now safe to add the comma here and run the script and refresh the page. Oh wow. Well, that's a lot of data. That's a lot of data, but it's not correct. It's not entirely correct. And why I'm saying so is that we didn't respect the format which CanvasJS wants. So remember in the beginning I told you that in the chart data we need to have the y-axis, no, the x-axis has to be a UTC, in UTC format as a number. But that number has to be the number of milliseconds. And right now we are supplying the number of seconds, which will practically make the data messed up. So we are not on the right side right now. But in order to fix it, we just need to multiply the UTC seconds to milliseconds, to multiply it by 1000 to have it as a millisecond. So what we can do, we will multiply it with 1000 right here, and we run the script again. Now if we refresh the page, yeah, it looks more beautiful. Looks gorgeous. So we can see for each date, I suppose. 15 March, 15 March. I think something is still not particularly right, because I see the same like date, 3 of April, 3rd of April, 4th. So it should, which is the 1st of January, okay, 2nd, 3rd, blah blah blah. That's something a bit strange. And in August, we have 8th of August, data for 8th of August a couple of times, 2 times, which shouldn't be the case. I don't know exactly why this is happening. Okay, let's have a look over the charts. Chart with dynamic data. I think maybe we are missing something, because I remember we can also zoom in. How can we zoom in? I played with this type of chart before, and we could zoom in. Not this one. Could zoom in somehow, but they did. Maybe they did change the library. I don't know. Yes, I have checked this data, so it's correct. What we are seeing into this chart is really pretty much correct, because I do have the data for each day, but I have 3 prices per day, like the minimum, the median, and also the maximum, something like that. And that's why we see this conglomerated, crowded chart. Another nice thing about this library is that you can enable the zoom. So this is where you can actually see it better. So zoom enabled. I added this option, and right now if I do something like this, you can see I can see exactly how our data is structured. So I can see pretty much what's going on. So we can see 3 prices per day. So on the 29 March, we can see 2,900, then 3,300, which was the maximum, and maybe the median or whatever it is on 3,100. And I think for each day we have 3 types of data, 3 prices, or even 4 prices. 31, yeah, something like that. But I think it makes the chart very, very crowded. I mean, I'm baffled when I see something like this. I'm a bit, whoa. So what I can do, I will regenerate the historic data in order to have less granular data, so it doesn't confuse us. So what I will do, I will rerun my script, and I will add data into another folder here, and let's see how it goes. Okay, I managed to run my script, and I'm going to create another folder which will be history daily, let's say, and I'm going to copy this data right here. So I'm going to use the not new folder, open containing folder. So I do have the less granular data right here, and let's modify the script in order to take from the history daily folder instead. So I'm going to use the input script, which will call daily, and I'm going to node history. Let's see the data. Yes, we have less data, but our chart should be, yeah, I think this one is more beautiful. We can see the price at the beginning of the year of the Ethereum, and it slowly rised to new levels, to new pinnacles, and then it slowly went down again just to rise up and go down in this summer and stay down as of almost today. Yeah, so this is how we can plot a chart in Node.js for HTML with CanvasJS, and it's pretty straightforward. What I would do for this script, I like to have them in the package.json. I like to have them right here. So history node history.js. Now you can just say npm history instead typing all the thing node history. No, npm run history. Maybe you type more, but the idea with this approach is that if you need process variables from a node itself, like I don't know, the version of the package, it's recommended to have to run the script from with the npm. So add it in the package.json. You are going to save a lot of trouble by doing it so. And I think we are kind of done with this tutorial, so I'm just going to perform some cleanup. Practically we don't need this commented code right here. I'm going just to wipe them out so the code stays clean. This one is clean already. Where is the history.js? Yeah, I think it's pretty clean. And yeah, I think that's quite about it for this tutorial. I would like to thank you a lot for watching this. I hope you find it useful. If you need more tutorials, or if you are eager to find out more of what I do and how I code and how I'm attracted to this kind of technology thing with web development, and also the blockchain part, and it's how they are evolving or revolving inside my head, you can just go over to afivan.com. This is my main blog. This is where I post my articles. So this video, you will also find it here, and you will also see lots of useful articles. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. I do have the other project of mine, which is called Affieter, and you can also jump in and visit that site. I use it as a supporting project, also for my blog. I have the contact information and also the newsletter implemented by this one, since I want to move away from WordPress, and I want to keep with WordPress only what's basic. So you can also visit this website and yeah, share comments and let me know if we find it interesting, and if you need or want to see more tutorials about all kinds of subjects. So I'm also planning to create tutorials on machine learning, since it's a hype with machine learning and it's quite an interesting subject. And well, I need some time to prepare myself because I'm also learning on the spot, so I want to be prepared and have really useful materials to show to you. And yeah, I think that's quite about it for this part, and I want to wish you good luck, and remember that development is a journey that will always push you to the limits, and you always learn something new. And I want to wish you all the best. Cheers.